Hi there and welcome back. My name's Phil Bradburn and I am running the coast of the UK. I am running from Hythe to Bournemouth at the beginning of April, and I have some answers to some questions from the awesome folks at Running the Distance Facebook group, the best group on the internet ever. Okay, so this lot of questions is about training. So Sue Wasnich asked, how do I train for multiple back-to-back days of running, and what was my starting mileage? So the way that I train is I don't really train. I basically enter a ton of events that are 30, 40, 50 odd miles, and I just string between each of these events. So I always have the distance in my legs and distance in my mind. So I'm in the fortunate position where if you wanted me to go out and run the 30-mile run now, then I could just go and do that. So the way that I got there, though, was to basically run and enter an ultra distance race, so entering over marathon distance every month. I'll often do 2 of those a month. I started by doing the marathon distance, then did a trail marathon, and then a few months later I entered a 32-mile run from the Long Distance Walkers Associations, and it took absolutely forever to do it, but it was in really tough conditions, which is really great training. Lots of mud and terrible weather. Did a lapped marathon, a lapped ultra, so there was 2-mile loops, and I did 29 of those, and it was just over 2 miles, so it was about 62 miles in total. And then I went straight into 50-mile point to point and failed. I ended up rolling my ankle and things didn't go great. So basically what I do is I enter really long races, but also I do some really long kind of sultry races, social ultra races, runs with friends, really long runs with friends. So yesterday, for example, I ran with a friend of mine, Michael, from his place in Maidstone all the way to London, and that was 41 miles. Don't worry about the speed, just worry about the distance, and everything else comes naturally. The next question was from Sarah Wood. How do I carry on dev today on tired, knackered legs? Okay, when I was running last year around the Kent coast with some friends, we did 4 days and it was 177 miles. So the first day was something like 54 miles, and then it was 38 miles. Then we did 48 miles and then 35 miles. I think all that adds up about right. And the really remarkable thing is that once you've run an ultra distance one day, you have a bit of sleep, have something to eat, have breakfast in the morning, and you know what, you wake up absolutely fine, legs are fine, because, you know, it's not like you're, well, certainly not me because I'm not an elite athlete, but I will run the longer, 10, 11, 12 minute miles for pretty much as long as you want me to. And what I find is that having some sleep is really, 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 really restorative. So I'll feel absolutely great in the morning. And last year when we ran the Kent coast, it was only really the last 15 or 20 miles that I found really, really, really super tough, because actually I managed to develop shin splints, and luckily a friend of mine who I was running with, Keith, he had a spray of some really cold, freezing ice pack stuff, so every 2 or 3 miles we'd stop and spray our legs because they were in absolute agony. So yeah, so it's really not as hard as you think it might be, and basically if I can do it, anyone can do it. So that's the end of the third video about basically about training and how I train. Come back for more.